I've hunted most of my life. Grew up around it. My dad took me out before I could even steady a rifle, back when we lived outside Marietta, Georgia. For me, the woods have always been peace. The quiet, the smell of pine and wet dirt, the steady rhythm of boots on ground. It's the one place that's supposed to make sense. That's why, when everything else in my life started going sideways, work stress, the divorce, the sleepless nights, I figured a weekend alone in the woods would clear my head. A buddy at the feed store mentioned some public land up north, near an old campground outside Cumming. Said it was called Dawson Hollow. Not many folks went there anymore, but the deer were thick and unspooked. Sounded perfect. I left before dawn Saturday morning, thermos of coffee and my old Remington in the passenger seat. The fog was heavy that day, a kind that seems to swallow sound. My GPS didn't even register the final road, just a dirt trail curving between dark trees. I figured that was normal. Some of the best hunting spots don't show up on a map. The first few miles of forest looked ordinary enough. Pines, sweet gum, oak. But as I drove deeper, the trees started to look wrong. Too tall, too close together. The trunks were black in color, not bark black, but charred, as if they'd been burned long ago and never recovered. When I parked and stepped out, I noticed the silence right away. No crickets, no birds, no rustle of wind. Just still air pressing against my ears. I shook it off, set my markers, loaded my rifle, and started walking east. For about an hour, everything went fine. I even found a few tracks, deer maybe 2 days old, leading toward the deeper forest. But then something started to change. I can't say when exactly. Maybe it was when the light shifted, when the air turned cold enough that I could see my breath even though it was early fall. Or maybe it was when I realized I hadn't heard a single sound since I left the truck. Not even the scrape of my own boots. It was like the world had muted itself. Then I saw it, a tree with a carving on it. Deep lines spiraling inward, almost like an eye. Not the kind of thing you'd see from kids messing around, too detailed, too deliberate. I walked past 3 more trees, and each one had the same mark. I told myself it was some local group symbol or old campsite graffiti. But when I stopped to take a picture, my phone screen glitched, static, flickering colors, and then shut off completely. The strangest part was when I turned around to head back to the truck. I couldn't find the orange trail markers I'd tied. Not one. I knew I'd been marking every 50 yards. But the trees all looked the same, twisted, thick, too close together. I tried using my compass, but the needle spun uselessly. That's when I started to feel watched. At first, I thought I was imagining it, the sense that something was behind me. But every time I turned, I caught movement. Just a flicker, like someone stepping behind a tree a split second too late. And then came the whispering. Started so faint I thought it was wind. A low murmur, coming from nowhere and everywhere. I froze and listened. The words didn't make sense. Just syllables, broken pieces of sound, overlapping like dozens of voices speaking at once. Then, clear as day, one voice separated from the rest. A man's voice. Calm. Close. Don't go deeper. I spun around so fast I almost dropped the rifle. Nothing. Just trees. I yelled, "Who's there?" But the sound felt swallowed before it even left my throat. No echo. No response. The fog started rolling in thick then, moving low along the ground, and that's when I saw it, a shape between the trees. A man. At least I thought it was a man. He stood about 30 yards off, facing me. His clothes were torn and faded, his skin the color of candle wax. He didn't move, didn't even blink. "Hey!" I shouted, but he just raised one hand slowly, pointing deeper into the woods. I backed up. The second I blinked, he was gone. I don't know how long I wandered after that. My sense of direction completely collapsed. The trees shifted. I swear they did, the spacing, the layout. I'd walk 10 minutes in one direction and find myself staring at the same dead log or the same carved tree. I started leaving marks in the dirt, breaking branches, didn't matter. The forest erased them. The whispers came and went, sometimes closer, sometimes fading away. I'd catch words now and then. My name, whispered so softly it barely existed. Once I heard a woman crying. Came from somewhere up ahead. I followed the sound, because of course I did, and found an old hunting stand, rusted and half-collapsed. Beneath it lay a rifle half buried in leaves. The metal was pitted with age, the wood cracked. The crying stopped. Something about that silence was worse than the sound itself. I turned around and saw figures between the trees, 5, maybe 6 of them, standing perfectly still. Their faces were pale, their clothes old. One looked like he was wearing that same red flannel you see in every hunting store ad, only rotted and torn. I raised my rifle. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. One of the figures tilted its head. Then they all stepped forward at once. Silent, synchronized, like marionettes being pulled on the same string. I ran. I don't remember choosing a direction. I just moved. The forest blurred around me. I fell twice, cut my hands on roots, lost my flashlight somewhere. Then, through the fog, I saw a faint glow headlights. My truck. I swear I'd been going deeper, not back. But there it was idling like I'd left it running. I didn't question it. I jumped in, slammed the door, and floored it down that dirt path. When I finally reached the main road, I pulled over to catch my breath. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I looked at my watch, 3:40 p.m. I'd gone in around sunrise. 7 hours, maybe. But when I checked my phone, it said Tuesday. I'd been gone 3 days. The dash cam was still recording, but when I played it back later, there was nothing but static, and beneath it, faint whispering. If you listen close enough, you can hear it say my name. I haven't gone hunting since. I still keep the rifle locked away, but I can't bring myself to touch it. Every so often, though, when I'm driving north of Atlanta, I'll see that stretch of trees off the highway. The air gets heavier. My ears ring like there's pressure in the cabin. And for just a second, in the reflection of the window, I'll see something standing at the tree line. Still, watching, waiting for me to come back.